Welcome, everyone. I want to call the East Greenbush Central School District Board of Education meeting to order for June 12th. Attendance tonight, we expect Ms. Commercial to be here. Oh, there she is. She'll be right here. So thank you for coming this evening. It's a big celebration that we do every year to recognize our mentors, retirees, and tenured staff. So we're pleased to see so many folks here this evening. Let's see, on our agenda, we will wait till Michelle settles in. Go ahead. Okay. So with Michelle's arrival, let's please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. First order of business this evening is the approval of the draft minutes. We do have a quorum. Mr. Mann is not here for that meeting. Any revisions, changes, comments on the minutes for May 29th? Seeing none, need a motion to approve those. Jesse, need a second. John, all those in favor? All those abstaining? Approved. And we'll go to our board forum. I'll start on my right with Emily.
All set, thanks.
Good. Jesse? Mark? John? Good.
All
And
set.
Michelle? Good. And I am good. Moving to our public forum. Residents, students, employees, and business representatives of the East Greenbush Central School District may address the board on matters concerning programs and/or operations of the district other than matters involving personnel. Members of the board do not respond to such concerns during the public forum. If a response is appropriate, either the president or superintendent will contact the individual in the near future. Those persons wishing to address the board will be recognized by the chair of the meeting and state for the record their name and address or affiliation with the district or business. While the board does not wish to infringe upon free speech protections, it must be stressed that the visitors' forum is not deemed to be an open forum. The board president will conduct the forum for the orderly and efficient operation of board business. In addition, any remarks which we consider defamatory or stigmatizing are prohibited will be declared out of order. All comments shall be limited to 5 minutes. Is anyone like to address the board at this time? Anyone? Anyone? Come on. Dr. McQueen.
Good evening. At this time, I'd like to ask Nate Sanford and Kathy Schmidt to come join me, please.
Nice.
They didn't expect that.
Wow, okay.
If I'm not making you talk. So, although he's unable to attend this evening, Mark and I thought it important to acknowledge the retirements of Nate Sanford, Rick Herat, and Kathy Schmidt, who combined have served our district and community for over 68 years. These three individuals are part of the district's transportation team. This team of over 100 staff transport approximately 4,000 students to 7 East Greenbush schools and 51 special education and private schools every school day. In addition to our regular bus runs, we completed over 650 athletic trips and 400 field trips this school year. This is only possible due to the dedication of our amazing team. Our 12-month staff often work additional hours covering bus runs to ensure our students are transported safely to and from school, athletic games, and special events. This is my 10th year overseeing student transportation, and I can confidently say that this is one of the most hardworking team of professionals I have had the pleasure to work with. We consider ourselves a family, dysfunctional at times, but student-centered and community-driven. These three retirees have represented us well over the years. With 32 years of service, Nate has spent his entire career at the East Greenbush Transportation Department.
Most of my life.
Because he's only 35. He's been a mechanic, a bus driver, and our head mechanic. He also represented his colleagues as the CSCA president. When one of our mechanics was married at the transportation department, Nate signed his marriage certificate. One thing you might not know about Nate is he is young at heart and has an adventurous spirit. He loves to spend his personal time racing dirt bikes. It's in the parking lot right now. Nate is always willing to come in early, stay late, to cover bus runs and help us get students home safely. His flexibility is one of his greatest assets, always willing to do what needs to be done to support our students, his coworkers, and the district. I have had the privilege of working very closely with Nate over the past 2 years, and I've enjoyed working with him very much. He is a loyal and dedicated professional. When Rick told me he was unable to be here tonight, I warned him I would roast him. It didn't get him to come, but Rick is like our Walmart greeter, always checking in on staff as they arrive. But honestly, often the first one on duty, Rick typically arrives between 5:15 and 5:30 each morning to unlock our gates and greet our early morning drivers. Rick has been a mechanic with us for 17 years. He is a highly skilled mechanic and has provided coverage as a head mechanic for Nate when needed. He is supportive of his fellow mechanics who regularly seek guidance from him, and he served as a mentor to new mechanics over the years. Rick is always smiling and known for his distinct laugh. If you've heard it, you know what I mean. He has a friendly, personable nature about him, creating a welcoming atmosphere for his coworkers and our transportation visitors. Recently, just the other day, as a matter of fact, I asked Rick what he would miss the most. He simply replied, "It is like a family here." He will truly be missed by all. Kathy has been a bus driver for 19 years. She reminds me with retirement, it's only 17, but she began as a sub. So we're both correct. She knows the history of the transportation department and has been an invaluable resource to me as the transportation administrator. Kathy is familiar with all of our bus routes. She is always willing to cover late runs, double up runs, and volunteers to help whenever the need arises. She has served as a mentor for new drivers and is happy to support them with their transition to our department. She has worked on the safety committee and special events committee. Kathy helps lead our community service work. Some of you may have seen her handing out candy in the Christmas parade, visiting our schools with Santa as one of his elves, or providing families with turkeys for Thanksgiving. She is a caring, compassionate bus driver with a flawless record over her 19 years of service. We are fortunate that both Nate and Kathy will continue to support the district next year, Nate as a mechanic and Kathy as a substitute bus driver. We wish them all a long, happy, and healthy retirement. Thank you both and everyone for all you've done for the district.
Very nice. Thank you, Dr. McQueen. Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board at this time? Yes, Allison.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to take a moment to congratulate the 3 groups of EGTA members that are going to be recognized this evening. So our newly tenured teachers and related service providers, now you may go forward and have some confidence and reassurance that, you are more of a permanent member of our membership now. And then we have our people who have done mentoring and been mentees. Those mentors prove that teaching extends far beyond the classroom, and you should be really proud of the impact you're having on the future of the association. And then our retirees, it's always very bittersweet because they are the history and the foundation of the EGTA in so many ways. And we're going to miss them. But Ms. Cannon and I were talking earlier today, a lot of them will be subbing again, so that's very good. So congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, Allison. Very well said. Would anyone else like to address the board this time? Can't see behind the screen, but we're good? Okay. I will now move to the next item, which is the reports and presentations of the superintendent for our presentations.
Thank you, Mr. Buno. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight for what is a very special board meeting. We look forward to this Board of Education meeting every year. It gives us an opportunity to acknowledge, to appreciate, and to recognize all of the wonderful employees that do a terrific job in serving the students in the community every day of the year. And from the district office, myself, the Board of Education, all of the individuals that we are going to recognize this evening have made a significant contribution to the education of our students, but also the strengthening of the East Greenbush School District community. We're going to start by recognizing first our tenure recipients. We changed the order a little bit this evening. And first, I'd like to recognize Kara Harrington, who is our Assistant Director of Pupil Personnel Services. Is Kara here? Congratulations. Kara Harrington's role is critically important within the district. She supports the Director of Pupil Personnel Services as well as the Committee on Special Education process. She meets with families to help develop the individual education plans and services that are provided to the students. And as we know from the data and from the reaction and responses we get from our community, our special education program is very special here in East Greenbush, and Kara Harrington is a big part of that. So Kara, thank you for what you do, and congratulations on being awarded tenure this evening. Tenure in the East Greenbush Central School District is not an automatic. Several years ago, New York State developed a very stringent criteria for school districts to award tenure. There's a set of common standards of effective teaching practices and planning practices that the district utilizes to evaluate our teachers. The state also changed the tenure period from 3 years, which was the period historically, to 4 years. And so when we award tenure to our East Greenbush teachers, it comes with an understanding that, yes, they are exemplary teachers and they have met all of the criteria for the East Greenbush School District, but they are encouraged to continue this. Teaching is a very difficult profession, but also Paul Coco, mathematics. Able to be here this evening, but we'll make sure that she gets her recognition. Jennifer Farrell, reading. Congratulations, Jennifer. Great job. Nicole Forth, mathematics. Bailey Siobhan Kennedy, foreign language. Sabine Murphy, English to speakers of other languages. Elise Wiemet, special education. Congratulations to Elise. Karen Roche, reading. Michelle Rose, reading. Tyler Rose, physical education. Justin Rossello, elementary education. Congratulations, Justin. Megan Taylor, elementary education. Congratulations, Megan. Christy Wagner, elementary education. Mackenzie White, reading. Congratulations to Mackenzie. At this time, I'd like everyone again to recognize all of our teachers from East Greenbush for being awarded tenure this evening. Congratulations to all of our teachers. We also award tenure to our teaching assistants who are represented by the school-related personnel. Teaching assistants have a very challenging job, but a very important job within our school district, supporting the success of our students. Academic success, social emotional success, behavioral success. I don't know what the district would do without our teaching assistants, and I know that our teachers and our principals really appreciate the fine work of our teaching assistants. And again, to be awarded tenure in New York State and in East Greenbush is not an automatic. It's something that comes with a rigorous evaluation process. for both our teachers and our teaching assistants. So at this time, I'm pleased to recognize our school-related personnel. Owusu Anane, teaching assistant. Tammy Kivitz, teaching assistant. Chantel Polarolo, teaching assistant. Congratulations to Chantel. So that concludes the portion of our recognition dedicated to the awarding of tenure for our administrators, our teachers, and our teaching assistants. Can we give them all a nice round of applause for congratulations on achieving tenure within the East Greenbush School District? Public schools in New York State are also required to provide a mentoring program to support our new teachers that are either new to the profession or within their first couple of years within the district. And we're very privileged to have a retired East Greenbush teacher, Melissa Gilligan, who coordinates the mentor teacher program under the supervision and oversight of our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction, Mr. Stiles. So I wonder if Melissa is here this evening. Melissa could not be here this evening, but we want to thank her for the work that she does to coordinate our mentors, to work with our new teachers in the mentoring program. We're going to recognize the mentees, and then we're going to partner them up with their mentors to receive a certificate. Our first mentee is Claire Bolak. Is Claire here? And she's been mentored by Lelena DeMarco. Let's hear it for Claire and Lelena. Holly Bouye, mentored by Raj Hardy. Rachel Coyne. There's Rachel, being mentored by Valerie Santillo. Congratulations, Rachel. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Matthew Goodwine, being mentored by Amy Morgan. Jennifer Mapes, being mentored by Renee Fields. Lori Marshoni, mentored by Maureen McHugh. Rihanna Martin, being mentored by Leslie Rett. Kelly Maholland, mentored by Carol Willis. Catherine Spear, mentored by Tanya Maxtad. Kayla Sweet, mentored by James Eggleston. Courtney Trudeau, mentored by Ron Montesi. Nicole Weber, mentored by Allison Savoca. So let's have another round of applause for all of our teachers who participated in the mentor program, our mentees and our mentors. Congratulations. Each board meeting, our Board of Education has a wonderful opportunity, as well as our administration, to hear from our student council leaders. They come to almost every board meeting. They keep us updated on the student activities that are going on at the high school and all that they do for the community. At this time, I'm not sure if they're here this evening. They have a lot of activities that they're involved in outside of school, but we would like to recognize the student council representatives who have attended the board meetings and kept us very well informed as to the activities of the high school. Roan Butterfield. What? All right, very good. You mean they didn't cancel out on a field trip to New York City to come to another board meeting? Okay. And Cole Hardy. So let's congratulate Rowan and Cole for coming to all of our board meetings.
Jim made it.
We'll make sure that they receive their certificates. I was giving some thought today to kind of revisited the list of the individuals who we're recognizing for retirement. Well, I've only been the superintendent here for 8 years. I know the fine work and the dedication and the contributions that these individuals that we recognize tonight who are leaving the district, but as you heard, maybe subbing for us, and so maybe not relieving as much as we hope they wouldn't. Countless hours of working with children. In fact, I couldn't do the math and I couldn't get a hold of the math department today, but I think if you count the number of children that were impacted by the individuals that we're going to recognize, you're into the tens of thousands of children who were positively impacted by the work of our dedicated professionals who we say congratulations to this evening, but hopefully not goodbye. And we hope that they will continue not only to maybe work as a substitute, stop by and visit us, let us know how they're doing and keep in contact because, as been said this evening, we are an educational community. And the reason our educational community is so special is because of the dedication and the contributions of the employees, many who have served here for 30 years or more within the district, helping our kids and shining and helping the district to shine. The first individual I'd like to recognize is an outstanding school leader. He has had a tremendous impact in the classroom as a teacher at the elementary school level. He worked as an assistant principal at Columbia High School and had a tremendous impact on the high school. And for the last several years, I've been privileged to watch Marty Mahar lead the Belltop Elementary School in a very positive direction and has built a learning-centered, positive culture at Belltop in his leadership of the building. So our first individual is retiring principal, Marty Mahar. There's a misnomer in education when we refer to certain employees as non-instructional employees, because while they work in different fields that don't directly teach or support kids in the classroom, without them, good instruction would not occur. individuals in positions such as in our school lunch program, our head custodians, our mechanics, our school bus drivers, people that tend to the facilities. And you often hear them talking about their schools. Well, I want to keep my school ready over the summer, or I want to make sure that my kids have a good, healthy, and nutritious lunch. I want to make sure that my kids on Route 23 get to school safely. And when they talk about my kids, they're talking about the sense of pride and the sense of ownership that they take. So they're just as much educators as everyone else, including the principals and the teachers in the classroom. And I'm privileged to recognize these individuals who are retiring this evening after long service to the district in areas represented by the CSEA. First is Kathleen Austin, food service helper. Is Kathleen here? Frank Kramer, head custodian, Donald P. Sutherland. Congratulations, Frank. Great job. Great job. Proud of you. Richard Harrod, mechanic. Joanne Martin, food service helper. Sean Masters, school bus driver. Nathan Sanford, head mechanic. Kathleen Schmidt, school bus driver. Amy Sherman, head custodian, Red Mill. Let's have a nice round of applause for all of our employees represented by the CSEA. Congratulations on your retirement. We wish you well. Many enjoyable years of retirement. Again, come back and see us so we can check in and see how you're doing. At this point, I'd like to recognize our teachers, our members of the East Greenbush Teachers Association, and congratulate them on all of their contributions and success to the students of the East Greenbush School District. We are forever endeavored to you for your contributions, your loyalty, and your support for our students in our community. Elise Beams, elementary education. Julie Hamill, elementary education. Elizabeth Hart, elementary education. Daniel Hurd, technology education. Kathleen LaForester, foreign language. Joanne Lacasano, foreign language. Tara Maney, Special Education. Maureen McHugh, Elementary Education. James Obermeyer, Special Education. Gwen Rudnick, Occupational Therapy. Donna Shepherdson, Business Education. Sherry Valenti, Elementary Education. Carol Willis, Reading. Now, they don't realize this, but we didn't give them certificates, we gave them lifetime contracts. We slipped that in, so. Again, thank you for all that you have done as teachers for the benefit of our children and all that you've done to strengthen the school district. We will miss you, we wish you well, and we hope that you will come back often to visit us and to continue to help us. And now I'd like to recognize the members of the school-related personnel who are retiring, which include teaching assistants and typists. First, I'd like to recognize Mary Ruth Barranca, teaching assistant. Denise Chacha, typist. Lisa Harrington, teaching assistant. Joanne Nolet, typist. Adrienne Rudat, teaching assistant. Thank you to all of our retirees for your outstanding service to the district. We're privileged to recognize you this evening. Our students were certainly privileged to work with all of you in your various roles. So congratulations to all of our retirees. We wish you well and an enjoyable retirement. Well deserved. One more round of applause for everybody. Honored to see them. Thank you all for your contributions to our great school district.
So I just have a quick comment. I just want to thank our new teachers, if their first year mentees, mentors, the staff who received tenure, our retirees. Thank you for choosing our district. East Greenbush Central School District is proud and pleased that you chose this community and this district to bring your skills and your profession as teachers and support staff. Everything you do is so important to this community. And without you, we aren't who we are. So I really want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all you do. This is just a small token of our recognition. We really do appreciate you, and just the best of luck in your careers. Stay with us, stay with it, persevere. And for retirees, thank you so much again. Part of this district over the years has been better enhanced by your presence, and I hope that you have a wonderful retirement in many years. And as Jeff has said and others, you're always welcome back. You're part of this community. Please don't be strangers. So thank you once again. I think we're going to take some photos with Mr. Adams up front here. And then we'll have a brief recess, board members, for some refreshments that are in the back. So again, congratulations, thank you. And let's meet Mr. Adams up front, everyone who was recognized this evening. So come on up. All right, we're all back here, and I'll turn over to Mr. Simons as part of our reports and presentations. We're going to move to item C. Our students are here.
Good evening again, everyone, and thank you for those of you who have been in attendance, and thanks for those of you who are staying. No one is obligated to stay, but we're going to move forward in the agenda. We're very pleased and privileged to have with us this evening representatives who were involved in a program called Elevating and Empowering Student Voices, which involved Columbia High School students learning how, as leaders, they can impact the climate of our school. They are joined by their advisors, Jody Sullivan, who is Professional Learning Program Specialist at Questar BOCES, who oversaw the program, Nicole Conti, who's a physical education teacher at Columbia High School, and Marna Meltzer McMorris, who is a world languages teacher at Columbia High School as well. And the students representing this group are Ellie Kienholz, Raina Sullivan, and Aries Raphael. I'm going to turn the program over to them.
Well, before you do that, Mr. Simons, I want to say that, I am supportive of the efforts here. I got my shirt from Ms. Sullivan. Elevating and empowering students and having student voice is so critical in today's world. I think that, we need to listen to the kids who go to school and participate and want to make this is best experience for every student that comes through Columbia, as the board does, as our community does. So I'm really pleased and honored to be able to listen to them. In my work at Questar, I was able to sit in on some things and hear some of the students and all the different schools that were involved, but particularly our Columbia students. And I'm really proud that you're here today and presenting. So now I will turn it over.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Raina Sullivan, and I'm in 10th grade.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ellie Kienholz. I'm in 11th grade.
I'm Aries Raphael, and I'm in 12th grade.
And we're just 3 members of our Elevating and Empowering Student Voices team here at Columbia High School. The others could not be here tonight when we miss them dearly, but we've had a great year, and we're really excited to be here and tell you about some of the things that we've done. So to start, I'd like to turn it over to our wonderful advisors, and they're going to give you a little bit of background information about how we got interested or how we got invited to be a part of this amazing program. So thank you.
Good evening. I'm Marna Meltzer McMorris, and I am here with Nicole Conti and Jody Sullivan, who are going to just give you a very brief snapshot as to how East Greenbush became involved in this amazing program and the reach it's had within the Capital District in terms of collaboration with our partner districts. I will turn it over to Ms. Sullivan.
Thank you so much, and thanks for inviting me to be a part of this tonight. Really, this entire program started as a little bit of a seed of an idea. Back in 2022, 2023, Questar 3 BOCES put together a regional DEI task force, and the purpose of the regional DEI task force was to engage school district leaders in conversations around tough topics of diversity, inclusivity, and equity and access to education. We brought in some outside consultants, and we had a lot of conversation and training around definitions, understanding, and capacity building. That school year ended, and we asked all of the district leaders and reflected on the work that was done that school year. And what we learned was all of the leaders unanimously agreed that what was missing was students. So while we could talk about what this means, we could talk about what this might look like, we could talk about policy, that really the true change and the true power was something that we hadn't really tapped into quite yet. And we wanted to see what this could look like and feel like when we included students. So in the 23-24 school year, we partnered with Dr. Eva Jones, who is a consultant. She's a retired district level administrator from Niskayuna, lives locally, works locally, and in her retirement has started this type of consulting. which she doesn't really call DEI. We're really more aligned with social emotional learning standards and the idea of building a culture and a climate of belonging, a culture and climate where students are treated with dignity, where they're not just, allowed to come to the table, but they are directly and explicitly invited to the table. They are trained to be leaders. They are trained to talk about topics that can be difficult. They are trained to talk to one another and to ask follow-up questions. So with the help of Dr. Eva Jones, she and I sort of envisioned what this would look like in our region, and our region is Columbia, Rensselaer, and Greene counties. We ended up running our free pilot program for, we offered it out to all of our districts. And logistically speaking, we ended up with a full commitment from 5 school districts. And those 5 school districts were Averill Park, Troy, Schodack, New Lebanon, and East Greenbush. I can tell you right from the get-go, East Greenbush had students that they were ready to reach out to. There were advisors who stepped right up to the plate. The advisors came to summertime planning meetings where we planned out the dates for the school year. We planned out what we were going to do, when we were going to meet, how transportation was going to work, whether we were going to serve lunch, like just all of the logistics and details of the program. Once our advisors, so 2 advisors from each school district, sat around the table in the boardroom up at Questar 3 BOCES and kind of put together a skeleton of the outline, what it would look like logistically. Dr. Eva Jones brought the content and the expertise, and I helped organize the communication, the ordering of things, and of course, getting the students to come and putting together what was at the end a DEI summit. So, this turned into regularly meeting. So what these students have gone through after their advisors helped set the schedule, then all students were invited to become trained as discussion leaders and discussion facilitators. East Greenbush brought every kid to become trained as a discussion leader and a discussion facilitator. So all of these students learned how to lead and facilitate a discussion around some of these topics of wellness and SEL and diversity and equity. Then about a week before each of our in-person meetings, we brought together all 5 schools. All 5 schools each brought 2 advisors and 10 to 12 students with them to our facility at Questar 3 BOCES. They came 3 times from about 10 o'clock to about 12:30 in the afternoon. We did a very short, full group discussion, and then students divided into focus groups where they sat in circles, and the topics that they had decided previously, we showed a video on, and some of the students were then trained to facilitate the discussion with their peers. So all of the, let's say, 50 students were split into 2 groups of 25, and let's say Ellie and Aries might have been facilitating the discussion for one group of 25 students, a mixed group from all the different schools, and 2 other students might be facilitating a discussion with the other group. During that time, the advisors all left the room. They went back up into the boardroom and worked with Dr. Eva Jones on how to continue to develop professionally and to participate in some professional learning so that they could continue to support the students with their work when they came back to their schools. So kind of a lot of things happening at once, and not a lot of adults in the room when the kids were talking about these topics. We typically, I kind of hung back just so that there was an adult in case, a topic maybe triggered a student, or there was something that needed to be clarified, or, just to have an adult in the room. They never needed us, never. And always continued the conversations in a respectful manner, taking turns and talking and sharing. The first couple of times they just got to know each other, and then after that they dug right into some serious issues. So that happened 3 times, and a week before each meeting The students who signed up to be the discussion leaders came on a Zoom and previewed the content so that they could confidently lead their peers through the discussion there. Then the group planned for a big end of year festival. So our summit, the end of the year summit, the t-shirts were designed by students, the placemats that we had were designed by students, the agenda was designed with the help of students. Students introduced the speakers, students participated in the panel discussion. We also had members from the community, Jason Benitez from the Capital Region Chamber of Commerce, Nathaniel Gray from the Pride Center, Xiomara Giordano, the Chief Diversity Officer from SUNY Empire College, Isaiah Santiago, who's the youngest elected official of Rochester City School Board Chancellor, was elected at 19 years old. He's currently a sophomore at St. John Fisher College. He came and talked to the students about the importance of their voice being at the table. So this was just sort of like a glimpse from start to finish, from planning in the summertime all the way through to the summit. And East Greenbush was a regular, consistent, reliable partner. Their transportation always followed through. I was just talking to Wanda McQueen about what a fan I am of the transportation department here. They do such a great job. And then these two advisors who just got everything done. I mean, they are taskmasters and they brought the students together. They were always thoughtful, always respectful. And then the things that they did at their schools, each school would bring back to the group and share, this is how it's going. They were each supposed to kind of do a project at their home school district that could in some way take some steps forward in the direction of improving climate and culture, a sense of belonging in your schools. And so that's sort of the big overview from the Questar point of view. We had just sort of finished some of our budgetary discussions and have a meeting next week with Dr. Eva Jones and my supervisor over at Questar 3 BOCES School Improvement to discuss the vision of this program again next year and what it might look like and how we might be able to continue this work again. So just kind of giving you that context, I'll turn it back over.
So our timeline was like Jody said before, attending seminars, and I facilitated 2 of these discussions, and through the virtual training, I was like more prepared to like dive into the subject and think of potential questions any of the participants of the circle had. And when we came back, we decided to take a survey, and that was school-wide, and have like an in-school field trip to discuss the same way we did at the Questar building. So as you see here, it was a pretty good field trip, and
So pretty much we, just like they said before, they kind of mimicked what we learned in the training itself and brought it into a smaller group of students. These amazing students were able to kind of selectively pick, you know, based off the responses, who they kind of thought would be best to fit this program for right now as a start. Within the training yourself, you can read over here some of the questions that they provided, and the kids at their kind of their own pace were able to walk around and answer in a kind of comfortable situation that they could put down. And then from there, they kind of sat in a group circle and talked about that. And I have to say, just as advisors, this is one of the most empowering experiences, I think, and I'm going on 15 years of teaching now, to see students from all kind of walks, I think, all different cultures, all different backgrounds, athletes, students in music and things like that, to get together, not know each other, but to feel confident in speaking about, hey, this is going on in school, and this is how I feel about it. And, you know, that they really trusted these students, and I'm very proud of all of them. I think it's awesome. So, of course.
They have done absolutely excellent work. So when you're thinking about the picture of a graduate, the portrait of a graduate, and you're looking at the social emotional intelligence, you're looking at the cultural knowledge, and you're looking at the ability to problem solve and to collaborate. This is exactly what they're doing, and their work is stunning.
Hi. So I can touch a little bit more about what we decided to take from our Questar seminars, and we decided to create an action plan like Jody and Dr. Eva Jones asked us to do. We decided, can we go to I think slide 5. Yeah. Okay. So we decided, we got together around December 4th, I believe, and we attended a teacher meeting for all the teachers at Columbia, and we asked them to support us through our journey. And then we crafted a survey. And this survey had about 10 to 15 questions where we just asked students a plethora of questions, including what grades they were in, if they were proud of our school, if they agreed, if they strongly disagreed, all of these different questions. And we had 255 students respond with the help of our Columbia High School teachers, who some of them forced it on them, which we were very grateful for because it allowed us to get a very good sample size, I believe. From these 255 responses, we then took our time and really crafted a group of kids we thought would be perfect to hear our message and to hear what we're all about and to hopefully build our program here at Columbia. So we picked about 50 kids and then split that group into 25. Those 25 were sent emails saying we would like them to participate in our in-school field trip. This in-school field trip kind of mimicked what we had been taught at Questar, where we get into our discussion groups, and the Post-it note activity was an activity that was presented to us at the Questar meetings. And so I really feel that this was the best course of action because it allowed students in our school to kind of open their eyes to something that was close to them, but maybe they weren't familiar with. And it allowed us to get their perspective. My favorite part of the Questar circle discussions was like seeing that there are kids at other schools so close to us who want the same changes that I want and who have the same conversations and the same issues and the same mindset and the same dreams that I have. And having those conversations with students that I don't know personally was the best part of my school year, honestly. And I think us incorporating that to students here hopefully open their eyes too, and hopefully will allow us to build the program the next couple of years. So I think it was pretty successful, but we have our in-school field trip pictures and survey questions if you'd like to look at it at a later date.
Can I jump in quickly? So part of even the way that they went about doing this survey, I think part of having really good conversations around tough topics is reaching out to people who are ready to have them. And that was like sort of our vision with Dr. Jones is we want the school districts who are ready to have these conversations to come and bring students and adults who are ready to have these conversations. My role at Questar 3 BOCES is professional learning program specialist. There are a lot of ways you can go about professional learning. You can target the people who you've got, the biggest issues with. You can target the people who need to change the most, or you can target the top third, the people who are ready to go, who are ready to move, but don't know that they're not alone. So what we wanted to do is kind of bring together that group that's ready to talk, ready to work, and ready to come together. And that's what they did back here at school. That was the purpose of the survey, was to find which kids are ready, willing, and able and comfortable to have these conversations and to jump into them in a safe way. Even with the Post-its, right? So like when you have a conversation in class or you have a discussion, kind of the kids who raise their hand, that's the opinion you hear. In this way, we gave every single student 4 questions and we gave every single student 4 Post-it notes. Don't write your name on it. Everybody responds. So the loudest person in the room doesn't matter. Everybody's ideas are equally represented. They bring them over, they put them on the boards when they're ready, and then we all walk around and read everything that was written based on the prompt, and then have students say, okay, you've all had a chance to read everything everyone said, what stood out to you. So even the approach to the types of activities that we were doing, we wanted them to be inclusive. We didn't want somebody to say like, oh, I don't feel comfortable speaking up, or I'm not sure, I don't want to put my name on this. Every bit of it was intentionally planned to be inclusive. And then, these guys, we said, do not reinvent the wheel. We are training you to, turnkey, come back and do it just the same way. Put your own touch on it. And that's what they did.
What I just like really loved about everything is when we met with everyone, everyone had different point of views and everyone didn't always agree, but everyone was just so mature about it. And there was no fighting. And a big thing that we like learned is there's not always going to be closure. And that was a big thing. And sometimes it's hard not to get closure, but that's just what happens sometimes. We learned what slide are we doing? We learned a lot from the survey and from the in-school field trip. Just Columbia is inclusive, but we just need a little more work to do. Definitely. Students definitely have a clear idea of what inclusivity looks like. All these people who we met with have their own ideas and their own experiences, and they know what they want to see get changed. And people are not looking to be bystanders anymore, and they want to stand up for what.
Say that again. Say that again.
They don't want to be bystanders anymore. They want to actually stand up and say something and make the change.
I just want to touch on really quick our plan for next. Oh, yep, there's some pictures of our in-school field trip. But for next year, we still are up in the air and we are still working on our next plan of action because this doesn't just stop here. It's not just over. And we thank you guys for all you've done for us to get us this far and to allow us to help with this program. It's been amazing. I don't even have the words because it's just that eye-opening and impactful. And I think for next year, hopefully we'll come back stronger and better and make another plan of action to kind of build on this one and reach a larger group of students at Columbia and just change the world, I guess. So thank you so much.
Any questions?
Does the board have any questions for the advisors or the students?
Board members, comments, questions?
My question for you guys is next year, are we looking to expand it, participants in our school? Or
What did you say? I couldn't hear you.
Sorry, I'm looking to expand it next year
Oh,
with
okay.
additional.
So we still have the survey results for all of the students that aren't seniors. So we might go back to that and plan another in-school field trip for a whole new group of kids, which then will build the program by nature. But also we've talked about having a class, like a school-wide assembly, maybe possibly with one of our keynote speakers, because that is also super impactful. And we would also reach out to students and probably say a few words, but Isaiah Santiago especially, he was so inspirational. And I think everyone would benefit from hearing some of his words. So we're just still brainstorming that process, but I think the eventual goal is to expand the program to more kids at Columbia. Anything else?
Anybody else?
Yes.
Hi,
And-
hi. I'm Emily, board member, obviously, but I just first want to say that this sounds really amazing. And,
Thank
I just want to thank you for your efforts and your time, especially, telling us about it tonight. First, I am interested, I think the presentation has some of the survey questions, but I'm interested to see if we can get all of them. I don't know if the meat of them were in here, but I thought some of these were really interesting in that, the one that talks about seeing students harassing others who are perceived as different. We had more than what I thought, over 30% saying that they see that.
Yeah.
And that to me is a little bit of alarming when you think about our student population. So I would love to know, what what the plan is with this. When I always get data, I'm always like, okay, what are we going to do with it? And so I would love if, we could think about, longer term, clearly, like programs like this are needed if we're seeing that. And I love the aspect of, people not wanting to be bystanders. So even if you do something, see something, what do you do? A lot of the times, people just don't know what to do. It's not that they don't want to do something, they just don't know. So I think that this is great in educating, your peers and others, and empowering them to have those tools. So, I think that that's really great. And, thank you for sharing with this. And, I would also encourage, when you think about expanding it, you could also look to state leaders. And the state is in this space heavily, especially right now, with youth mental health and social media and things like that. And there's definitely, I think, a lot of ways to collaborate, which I see you have it as one of your goals. And I think that that's really admirable, because that's when you get the most change and the most effort, effort out of that is when you speak with others and you kind of see, what folks are doing and how you guys can work together. So I think that this is really admirable, and it seems like you guys asked all the right questions and did all the right things. And, you're coming away and looking ahead. So, I just want to say this is really admirable, and thank you for your work.
Thank you. Yeah, we do have the survey. If you would like it, we can share it. We picked out some of the ones that we thought were the most impactful and
Yes,
important.
yeah.
There are some more on our poster, but I'm sure we can
Really
figure out
yeah.
how to share that over and figure.
Thank
The
you.
full survey exists on the poster. All of the questions exist on the poster if you want to take a look at it.
I think I have it electronically.
I would
too, because we
love
have
it
I will send
electronically
out,
to
yeah.
save it,
I think, Marta, you sent it to me electronically.
Yes, I did.
What I noticed about this group as well is, just like you said, Emily, now they have this data, what do we do with it? And so some of them said, now what do we do with it?
Right.
And so you have a baseline, you want to compare it to something. So these mature young men and women have learned change happens slowly,
Mhm.
and being really invested and really passionate about something helps. And that checking in to see how you're doing means, right? It's like a scientific experiment with our social structure of school. Ask the questions again and see if the bit that we've done so far has made an impact, and how much of an impact and in what ways, so that they can refocus again on what topics they would like to dive into again in the future. So I think it was a great starting point. But again, yes, we want more data, we want more information, we want to narrow, all of our schools, all 5 of our districts have said, what now? And so what we're doing is we're helping them try to figure out what to do with their data, how to get another kind of sampling of information, so that they can measure some impact there. But at the very least, I know that there are 50 students in Columbia, Rensselaer, and Greene counties that are at a zero tolerance policy for microaggressions, for teasing, for all of those things, and will say something. And that is one agreement that all of them made with one another, from Troy to Averill Park and New Lebanon and Skodak and East Greenbush. They will not stand for it.
So you can do that like 10 times over.
So the idea is, if, we also talked about what does it mean to do something grassroots, right, from the ground up. So I'll ask this, do you know 5 people who would be willing to stop being bystanders? Yes, invite them to the school field trip. Do you know 5 people? Invite them. So I mean, that's the idea, is to grow it by saying, I'm done with this, who's with me?
I think this is a really important first step in your lives, because this skill set that you learn here not only is going to assist future generations within yourself and beyond, if we handle it properly, with changing the school climate. But most importantly, these are lessons that you're going to take into life, because the school experience is probably the shortest part of your life as you move forward. So not only, this is not a school exercise, this is a life exercise, and this is a life-changing exercise. And I think what's interesting as you go through this, and to Emily, we have all this data. You are the eyes and ears of the district right now. And the real impact, not only to one another, but long-term is to inform the administrators and the board, because what you're looking at is 9 people here that have volunteered. We're advocates for education and the school climate to be better. And what better way to get from students what you need? I'm not a student anymore. That was, if I told you what went on when I was in school, you'd be like, whoa. But each generation gets better. And we can be better on a board because we are all advocates. Everybody here is a volunteer. We're not paid, just like you guys. So continue your quest. I would challenge you for next year. Unfortunately, this is my last year on the board. I wish you all well, but I would love to see you come away from this exercise, not only have a 2-tiers goal, one impacting one another and making the climate better, but come away with an actionable item that you can then bring to the board and show them what you think could help and design the solution. Not just talking to people, but a long-term policy change, because that's really how we affect change in government and things is everyone can say this, this, and this, but turn it into actual items and take those experiences and continue your advocacy throughout the rest of your life. And this will really, I'm very proud of you guys. You've done a fantastic job. And to the advisors, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, John. Jesse?
Yes, I just want to say, I'm very excited about the program as well. I spent a lot of time with Nate Gray at New Leaders Council too, and he facilitated a lot of our discussions, and I think it's wonderful the discussions you're having. I just want to say that I think change, it starts with a conversation, sometimes, and I think change starts with us as individuals. And by understanding, how much we may see or how much we may not see, and having that conversation kind of really broadens, the way that we see the world and the way that we see others. And I think, even looking at the data, I know that this having occurred this year, that we're moving in the right direction. We're having that conversation. Of what is different in experiences, how do you see it? What do you think? And I think even elevating the differences is valuable, because when I think inclusivity, I think all points of view at the table. Let's figure this out. We don't have to agree, but we can understand, and that's what I love about this work. I think it's a wonderful program. I think the more individuals we have that we enlighten, because every time I think sometimes narrow is not narrow. Sometimes it's uninformed. By having a conversation, let's get everyone on the same page. As many people as we can. But I love the program though.
Thanks,
Thank
Jesse.
Those
you.
are my favorite days of the year, working with these kids. You wouldn't believe some of the things that they have said, the norms that they said, what's the stories in this room stay in this room, but the lessons leave.
Yeah.
They've said things like, it's very, very difficult to have hatred towards someone you know well.
Yeah.
And the point was to get to know each other, just get to know each other, and more. They're wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Oh, Mark? Yeah.
Hey, I just want to say I'm doubly happy because I'm on West Shores Board, right? So, and I'm also a board member here in East Greenbush, so this is like really awesome. And like the collaboration between East Greenbush and West Star, bringing everybody together. 5 schools out of 3 counties, next year we'll try to make that 10 schools out of 3 counties. And, you can be the advocates to try to get some of these other school districts out there to come join forces with y'all, because this is just phenomenal. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank
West
you.
Star 3 has made a video about the program. I don't think it's quite ready to be released yet. We're going to wait until we solidify our contract to potentially continue next year, which is our intention. Once we're sure that that's going to happen, we'll use that video to help get more of our schools in our region interested, so they can see for themselves their interviews with students. Aries moderated the panel discussion on the summit day. An East Greenbush student, Reed Schermeyer, was on the panel discussion on Summit Day. Kids introduced speakers. They did it all. They did it all. And they are so good at it, and just became so comfortable saying what they needed to say.
I'll be a strong advocate on the best.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that.
Especially if you had a shirt.
I have
Hey, you know.
small.
These are
Get him a
hard
shirt.
to
next
They're
get.
year.
pretty comfortable.
Yeah, hard to get.
But, yes, no.
Gotta do some work, Mr. Man.
It's been a learning experience for the advisors as well. I've been in education for 34 years. And every year I learn something new, and I will never stop learning. And I can tell you that I have learned more from this experience and these students than I ever have. Just looking at the way things were back in 1990 when I first started out, and the way they are now. This type of leadership and advocacy and capacity building is unparalleled, unprecedented, and I cannot thank our students enough. Thank you to Raina and to Ellie, and especially to Aries, who is a senior. They will be leaving us this year, but the work that Aries has done has truly set us on a course to success. So I would like to give them a huge round of applause. And thank you for hearing our presentation
Yeah,
this evening.
thank you for joining us
It's
this
been an
evening
honor.
and sharing it. Great conversation.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah, get some treats.
Mark won't want to eat them all.
So I know Mr. Simons has a brief capital project planning update.
Just want to update the board and the community regarding the capital project. We continue to meet with our architect and our construction team, construction managers on a weekly basis. We had another meeting today to review some of the considerations regarding phasing the design of the plans to be submitted to the State Education Department, as well as the phasing of the bid process and the construction process. It's still very fluid right now. We're trying to get those dates established and coordinated between the time that our architect needs to design the project phases and the estimated time that we think the State Education Department will need to approve those projects. And I'm happy to say that both Labella and Turner are bringing a lot of expertise to the process and a lot of capacity to the process. We're very pleased so far. We did want an opportunity to create an oversight group. We talked about, Mr. Buno talked about that at the last meeting. So we've established a capital project coordinating team, and we're having a meeting on June 27th at 4:45 in the boardroom. Mr. Buno and Mr. Mann, who've been involved in the process from the beginning, have agreed to serve on that committee. If there are any other board members that are interested, June 27th at 4:45. We need to limit the number of board members to 4, or else we'll have a quorum and we'll have to operate it like a Board of Education meeting. Jesse, you're interested? So I'll send reminders out. This is just to hear the plans that are being made, give us some input as we continue to proceed. The other piece of good news is the playground at Janae has been proceeding. There was a little bit of a delay because we needed more rubber material for the surface under the playground. That has been delivered and that has been poured and laid out. We expect that the playground will be ready for students possibly late Friday, maybe Monday, and Mr. Grignon and Paul Bickle and I are coordinating a ribbon cutting ceremony, but we're not sure exactly when we're going to do that next. It may be Monday, it may be Tuesday. Is that correct, Mr. Grignon? Weather forecast for Friday is not optimistic, so we don't want to open the playground in the thunder and lightning.
No.
Mr. Grignon, is that correct? That's right. Right. We want students there for it. So we'll let you know about the ribbon cutting, and certainly the board members who have supported this playground reconstruction will be invited to come to that, but it's proceeding very well.
Excellent. Good news. Moving on the agenda, we have discussion items. There's 2 items. The board schedule, that's the revised schedule, right, Mr. Simons, from 24-25?
Yes, I made some changes as early as this morning. I had a conflict on the original date that we had proposed for the organization meeting. So we just want to poll the board. Would would any of the current board members who will be serving in the next term as our new board member, two of our three new board members are here, available on July 8th? Okay, so the organizational meeting doesn't present a conflict. I've heard from a few board members through email.
Yep.
And then I changed the August meetings, which were originally set for the 14th and the 28th, because we thought that that would work better for our hiring. We have a number of vacant positions, and August 7th works better because Marissa reminded me that some of the employees may be working for other school districts and need to give 30 days notice, and we'd like them to be ready to go for opening day. So those were the two changes from the calendar that I had sent out. So
Send us an updated one.
yes, yeah, I sent it this morning.
Yep.
So this one that's here was sent this morning. I'm just looking for today for July 8th.
Yep.
Does July 8th, that Monday work for
And
everybody?
note the time too, it's 6 PM, not the typical
At
7
6 p.m.
at the admin.
I'll send you a little.
John has no vote on that.
Works for me.
Too much for you. You can
Works for you,
come.
John? Okay.
All right, good,
So,
good.
thank you.
And we'll get the other folks. Thanks, Mr. Simons. And then we want to have a little conversation about some of the portion of the graduate work and then alignment with board goals. Want to take the lead a little bit on that?
So the portrait of, Marna mentioned the portrait of a graduate, which is an ongoing design committee that we have going on in the district. A little bit of the background on portrait of a graduate. The district decided to become a part of Learning 2025, which is a growth program sponsored by the American Association of School Administrators. And we attended a conference last June, a number of principals and some teacher leaders. Mr. Wagner from the East Greenbush Teachers Association, Lisa Mahar, as well as our principals and our central office team. One of the things that we learned about some of the districts that are really engaging in work to prepare kids for the future, the skills that they're going to need, some of which were talked about this evening with our youth empowerment program. Districts were working on something called a portrait of a graduate, which is a vision of the skills that you want students to leave your school district with to be able to prepare for a changing world. Skills like adaptability or communication. So Mr. Stiles has organized a committee that is going to have their fourth session later this month. We hope to produce a document to share with the board, and that document will guide other work occurring in the district in the implementation. I'll turn it over to Mr. Stiles to give more details.
Sure. Just give a little overview of the portrait of a graduate and some of the work that's occurred so far. So as Mr. Simons has mentioned, the portrait of a graduate really is going to develop a set of skills or competencies that we want all of our students to possess as they go through our school district. It is, called a portrait of a graduate, but that doesn't mean it's for high school students or graduates. It's really something that is for all of our students pre-K through 12. We do have a design team that's made up of students, teachers, administrators. There's some Board of Education members on it, parents and other community members. And we're consulting with an organization who does a lot of work around the portrait of a graduate called Patel for Kids. And they're really helping, lead and guide our work. So we have had 3 meetings. We have our 4th and final meeting in 2 Mondays, which is June 24th. And really the creation of the portrait is the first step. And then really it's going to be something that will help guide our work. We'll look at, hopefully, look at our district goals. And then we'll start getting into, really looking at our instructional practices, our curriculum design, our assessment practices, and start incorporating what do these skills mean for our students outside of the typical, content-based skills that we always think of. So really, it's going to be, an ongoing process over multiple years and continuing, to evolve. One of the sayings that Patel for Kids has when they talk about a portrait of a graduate is it's your North Star that kind of guides your work and brings the district, together. So again, I'm really excited about the work that's been going on. I think, the members of the committee, I've gotten a lot of really great positive feedback regarding the 3 meetings from the design team. And really we're excited to continue the work and have it be our guide throughout the next few years.
Any questions or comments at this time about that? Anybody?
Yeah, I'll just say that,
Sure.
I've attended the sessions and I, think the process is really well. And I would say it's one of my, favorite chances so far to talk with folks around a table that include administrators, teachers, community, family members, students. And it's been a really great process, I think, to see, and then the conversations and what folks feel is needed in a portrait of a graduate, what type of qualities and for lifelong skills. And I've felt really I feel like invigorated about the process and feeling like it really aligns with a lot of the things that the board talks about. And I wanted to bring it up today and to put it to the board, so we hear about it and we know that when we talk about, board goals in the future and when we're thinking about, what they are, I think that this work is really critical. We think about it and I don't, want board goals to just be something up, right, on a classroom wall and that's this like esoteric thing. And I really think that this portrait of a graduate gets at kind of, beyond, the test taking, beyond that, what we want, the youth and the students to walk away with. And at the end of the day, I think it's what everyone here cares most about too, is, the kinds of students that we're graduating. So I think it's really impactful and I hope that this is the first of many discussions and I'm excited to see, the end product and then of course, how it's rolled out and how it's implemented will determine its success or not. So, I think that it's important the board knows about it and really gets behind it and, feels like it aligns with, where the district is going as a whole. So thank you.
And I did want to add, one thing. So in the news earlier this week, you saw some changes from the New York State Education Department
Yep.
and the Board of Regents. And, this work really aligns well with those proposed changes. So they talked a lot in the news about the changes to graduation requirements, that proposal. But another piece of that is New York State has created a portrait of a graduate, for the state. So a lot of, this work that we're doing really aligns with the direction that the state is moving and, the skills and competencies that we, want our kids to have, not just while they're in school, but to be successful beyond school.
Yeah. One other comment I would add just real quickly. There's the design of the portrait of the graduate, and then there's a whole lot of other work that needs to occur in the
Yes.
implementation.
Yeah.
Mr. Stiles mentioned a number of them. Looking at curriculum, looking at policy, looking at instructional practices, looking at assessment practices. And so once the portrait, which is the North Star document, is done, there's a whole process, which is a long-range process, which would involve more teachers, more support staff, more parents, more students in figuring out, okay, here's the what we want the kids to graduate with. How are we going to go about doing that? And so that will broaden the number of stakeholders that are involved in the process. Right now, we're just working within the design team to create the document.
Yeah.
And I would add to that, Jeff, sorry to cut you off, Jesse. Within that, I think a stakeholder should be communities, right? Because these students then go out and get jobs at like 16 Handles and places like that. And I think also these places in your extracurriculars, right? So thinking about all the places where students are and,
Right.
I think if, you have buy-in in all of these different ways and interactions the students have, you're reinforcing this on all different
Agree.
levels. So I think, in the community and folks, if we're looking to graduate folks that are, have XYZ qualities, you also can start to work on those qualities, at your part-time job or on the soccer field or
Absolutely.
at debate club. And so I really encourage that the implementation, we think broad, when we invite, the community, the full, full scope volunteer, coaches and everyone to the table.
Thank you. Jesse?
I was just gonna say, I just love the perspective of, preparing kids for the future holistically, saying even though it's Portrait of a Graduate, it's not just about graduates, but about taking advantage of the time that we have that we have the children that come through our school systems to prepare them for whatever life may bring them. And I just love that perspective. And I just wanted to say just briefly too that, I think also It's important to understand, what kids may want for themselves, what their values may be, and also have flex for, the fact that they may change. So I think there are things that we can anticipate, like job markets and instability when we think adaptability. And I think there's also the piece of, where are kids' values? I know sometimes when I talk to my children, they just don't agree. So
Sometimes.
Really?
Absolutely.
Great, good conversation too. The other thing I wanted to remind us is that, the board, John will remember, and Mark and some others who've been here a while. We undertook a strategy of really aligning our elementary schools and into the middle school and making sure that there's consistency across all the elementary schools, and to make sure, because that funneling of students from those different communities into the middle school, and how important it was that every student should have the same skills coming in, and this kind of builds on that in more concrete way through both, pre-K to 12 and beyond, like you said. So I think this is just another example of the district's forward thinking and participating and making sure that all of our students and the needs of the students community, what the state is looking for, what the world is looking for our students in the future. So really pleased to kind of see this ongoing alignment and then development of skills. So
Like,
looking forward
just
to
to
it.
expand on that, I think it's really important to go to where Emily and Jesse and some of the newer board members are. This process where we are today started along many years ago. And the things that you're thinking about are going to take the next group into the beyond and set the table. And I just think it's really important to have the plan, to have the data, and have a multi-tiered where you want to be, and putting in the system the flexible nature so that it's not so rigid, because a lot of times by the time you fund everything, things have already changed. And I think being flexible is the real key element here, even though we're talking about a fixed item, but having the institution, the flexibility to adapt to changes, because as technology, we're faced with AI and all the things that we're faced with, change comes so rapidly now that you don't even realize it till after it's already obsolete. So I think that this is a great process. I'm excited to see you guys take this to that very next level for the future.
Thanks, John.
And
All right, good conversation. Anything else? All right, going on to regular business, we have several items to approve. Approval of programs for resident children with disabilities. Any questions or comments on that? Seeing none, need a motion to approve those. Jesse, second. Michelle, all those in favor? Approved. We have request our lease for Columbia High School classrooms. It's a one-year lease. Questions or comments? Need a motion to approve that. Mark, second. Emily, all those in favor? Approved. We have a capital project bond resolution. Anyone have any questions about that process? It's a very thorough explanation.
I just want to clarify that this requires at least 6 board members to vote for it, 2/3 of the majority of the board.
And
And it
9 is
also
6.
requires a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Very good. All right. Michelle. John.
Yay.
Mr. Mann.
Yes.
Jesse.
Yes.
Emily. Mike's a yes. 6.
Thank you.
Am I counting good? Yes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
So this will get the process going for the bonding as needed. We had a conversation previously. We have the resolution to approve Ms. Cannon's contract as Director of Human Resources. Questions or comments? Need a motion to approve that? John, second. Jesse, all those in favor? Approve. Congratulations, Marissa.
Thank you for your support.
You're welcome. And finally, this item, appointment of Goff Middle School interim principal, the MOA, for Mr. McHugh, who will serve a little bit longer. We thank him. We thank Maureen as well for supporting his work there at Goff Middle School. So questions or comments? Need a motion to approve that. Mark, second. Michelle, all those in favor? Approved.
Thank you.
Another year for Mr. McHugh. He's done a great job. We appreciate all the work he's done. Table motions, they have none. Board members, any old business? None? Good. Okay, we're moving to a consent. I know Mr. Dunn said he had to pull something.
B.
B for separate vote.
And C.
Oh, and C. Let me just write this down. Okay, we only have 6 board members. So
So we'll pull
B and C for
first, then vote, then
Yep.
C.
separate. Got it.
So I'm gonna abstain on C as well, so I don't know if that's gonna not have a quorum.
No, we'll still have the, who said C? Your C? Okay. So that would not give us enough people to vote on that, right?
It's up to you guys. I mean, I like to pull myself out, but if you want me to get it done, I'll put myself back in.
So I think only need you to put
This is a
yourself.
local practice and is not required by law.
What's that?
To abstain from a vote if you have a relative.
Oh, okay.
All right,
That's more of a personal
I'll vote for
decision.
my wife.
Okay. Okay. So are we pulling anything or
It's your
no?
last one.
Separate vote?
Yeah, that's fine.
No,
Proceed.
I'm not violating any law.
All right.
So now
No.
we're all back in.
We're all back in. Okay.
You
Cross this
have
out.
to have a 60% vote in those cases,
Okay.
which means as long as everybody votes for it, it'll be fine.
And if we don't, then we back out again. Confusing.
All right, so consent agenda, nothing being pulled. Items A through J. Need a motion to approve those. Jesse, I need a second. Michelle, all those in favor? All 6 of us are approving it, so we're good. No addendums? Anybody? No? No addendums, right? New business board members? Anything? No? Good. Next item then, public forum. Anybody? Just Kim, Kathy?
We'll jump at
All
once.
right. And board forum, I'll start on my left with Michelle. Good. John.
Good.
We have one more meeting?
We have one more meeting for the school year on June
25th,
25th,
which is a
which is a
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
to accommodate the
We have a lot of graduations.
8th grade
End of year
elevation
activities, exactly.
celebration, which I think is happening on Wednesday.
Yeah, we gotta be careful with some of that stuff.
I'll reserve my comments to the 26th.
26th, okay. Jesse? No?
All set.
Emily? I just want to thank, again, all the retirees and the folks who were mentees, the tenured folks. Great presentation, and congratulations, everybody, again, for their efforts. And also, bringing the students in is really important. It makes the board's work real when you see the students here. And every time we have a student presentation, I've been looking forward to this for a long time, to see them and the work that they're doing. And I'm really, really proud of them and all of our students. The accomplishments that I've seen on the website, and just the athletic and academic and music and all the different arts, just some great things going for end of year, and really looking forward to the next couple of weeks, and then culmination with graduation in Valley on the Saturday, the 29th, right? So board members, if you're all welcome to attend the graduation. To make sure you have a gown, get with Mr. Hargan, and I'm sure someone will be wanting to give out a diploma at that. We'll do that. So we do have need for an executive session. N108? Okay, down the hall. And we don't have any board business after that. So for the purposes of contractual issues and personnel. So I need a motion to move into executive session. John, second, Michelle. All those in favor? All right, have a great night, everybody.